So here we are. The first one is done. I just pulled it out. It's still super, super hot. Second one is still in there. It's kind of hard, but because we put oil on that one, it's kind of shiny. Yeah, it's a little different. We're just gonna keep that close for a minute. So this one I just pulled it out. So the parchment paper, if it gets too close to the side, will burn, and that's okay. Just gonna slide that out. Something like that. I just want to flip this over so you can see what the bottom of it looks like. So this is cooking it on the stone, does this. Now listen. That's the sound of finished. When I say it sounds hollow, that's what it sounds like. Oops, I'm going to flip this over. Actually, I'm going to put it right over here and let that cool. It's just going to sit on the rack. That's going to cool. We're not going to cut it for at least 20 minutes because inside it's still baking. The outside was so hot that the inside still needs probably 20 minutes of the radiant heat to just kind of soak in there and make it yummy and delicious. But when you use the baskets, you get these little lines of flour. That's what happens when you rise it in a basket. But then when you cook it, it keeps its own shape. And this, you can see like tiny little bubbles. Can you see those tiny little bubbles? All these tiny bubbles. When we cut it open, it's going to have a whole network of tiny, tiny bubbles. And this outside crust is going to be crunchy and then really soft inside. And so the second one, I just want to give it a couple more minutes because it went in probably 5 minutes later than the other one. But it is in a stone, and that kind of alters how it works. Let's give it a look. Let's give it a looky look. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this out of here. Very carefully, because the oven is hot, but the stones are even hotter. So I want to make sure that I don't hurt anybody. All right, me. So I don't hurt me. So if I take this out of the stone and find that it's still not cooked to my liking, I'm just going to put it right back in on that stone. I think we're going to be okay. But let me turn this around and turn this around and prop it up like that. So I have two hands. And now, because the stone is like super, super hot, I'm really praying and hoping that it didn't stick. Oh, look at that. It slides right out. Perfect. Perfect. I want to make sure I don't burn myself because these stones are really, really hot. I got them from my favorite Pampered Chef person. So that inside sounds a little more moist than I would like. So I'm just going to stick it right back in, but I'm going to stick it on the stone itself. And I'm probably going to give that another 5 minutes. Just like that. So here it is. Lovely. This probably weighs 1.5 pounds. And then, if you're not going to eat it all at once, whatever part you don't want to eat, you can wrap it in plastic and stick it in the freezer. It'll stay happy on the counter for like a day or two, but I wouldn't wait much longer than that or it will go stale. It does make great French toast if you end up with extra and you don't know what to do with it. It's great for French toast. It's great for breadcrumbs. You know, if you find that all of a sudden there's just too much for your household, you can put the slices in the freezer, and when you need breadcrumbs, just whip them in the food processor. So we're going to serve these tonight for St. Joseph's Day with some pasta and meatballs and salad. I got a whole batch of bulk greens from Red Fire Farm. So if some of you are wondering, like, okay, how do we get produce and stuff from, if your grocery store shelves are empty and you don't have a garden yet, check with your local farmers. Give them a call. A lot of them will be doing curbside pickup. They might still have CSA shares, like for the whole summer. I was able to get from Red Fire some bulk greens, so like salad greens and spinach, because some of the markets closed. So they had prepared for spring markets, and then the markets were shut down. So they're holding on to this produce that has to be used. So check with your local farmer and find out if they have any stuff that that you could pick up curbside. So Red Fire, I know, had some old bushel cabbages. So if anybody needs cabbages to make sauerkraut or kimchi, I'll be doing that in the next couple of days. So if you just want cabbages, hit me up. If you want finished sauerkraut or kimchi, I can start them and they'll be ready in like 2 weeks. My friend Matt, he's known as Farmer Matt. He's out in West Brookfield, and he raises beef. So if you're concerned about getting some protein for your family, grass-fed beef from Farmer Matt out in West Brookfield, his number is on my page. If you just scroll down through my page, you'll see his phone number. And he does have stock available. Who else? Check in with your friends who raises chickens, who has eggs, who needs eggs, who needs chickens. If somebody has a couple of hens they'll need, I got some yard space. I could do with probably 4 hens that I don't currently have, but with what looks like coming, I probably could use for hens. Grab yourself some seeds, plant some things in window boxes or buckets or in the ground if you're in an apartment. Buckets work great. You can grow things in buckets, pails, and bags. Like, these are full of fabulous ideas for some self-sustainment and some self-sustenance. And if you're not sure how, ask. We have a whole community of makers that are more than happy to help each other out. I kept thinking I would have time for time for knitting and things, but it's spring and so it's all gardening. So I set up my lights yesterday and we'll plant seeds. I have heavy tarps on my garden bed to help warm the soil so that we can get some things in the soil, and then put some low row covers on. And I live in the city. Like, I live in a regular urban community, but we find it's really helpful to provide some of our own food. So if you have any questions, I'm so glad you all were able to join me for this fun adventure. If you have a skill, put out some videos. If you know how to. I know Lori Adams makes soap. I think Heather Rona said she was going to do some pasta making. But if you know how to do stuff, share away. Like, we're all stuck in this together. And, we're all going to come out the other side. I think stronger community, and a little less reliant on the system. But I won't go there. All right. God bless you all, and I'll see you soon.